especially at LAN. I mean, next map is going to be S&D Underground. And, you know, it's one of those occasions where for a team like Phantom to come against TCM, you've got to sort of enjoy the occasion as well. So it wouldn't surprise me maybe if we saw a lot more aggression coming from Phantom right now.
Well, it's an opportunity to really stand out from the crowd when you play a team like TCM.
Definitely.
Now, we're going to be heading into Dome, are we?
Underground.
Underground.
Yes.
I'm lost.
There
we are. Search and destroy. Of course, we'll have a look at the rule set at some point, but Phantom, can they pull themselves back into that? That is the question. They play a tough round on bootleg search and destroy, but they only lose by a flag cap. Not a bad showing, of course, here at the Madcatz Modern Warfare 3 EGL7 Championship. Now, is this your first event?
It is.
This is your first event?
Yeah, this is my first event right now.
And has it been exciting? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been extremely exciting. I mean, I remember coming in yesterday, and you know, all the chairs were laid out, and it was very empty. And you know, you come in, it's very overwhelming, I guess you could say, because it's such a big event. And you know, to see it now in such contrast, you know, completely full. We've got people on the air hockey, we've got people at the Scuff Gaming stand, you know, the Regio stand as well. It's just such a good event right now.
The guys at Regio have totally stood up and made themselves count here at EGL7. Great sponsorship and great coffee. So if you're here at the event, go check them out and drink some of the free coffee. And of course, they've got their partners here, Silvestri Cafe, La Cimbali, and they're providing some iced drinks. So enjoy those. Underground, next up, search and destroy. Of course, teams take turns to defend and attack bomb sites. 230 rounds. And you've got 45 seconds to disarm if you've been planted on.
Yep, and obviously there is no respawning, which is one of the things that makes search and destroy competitively so exciting.
But boring if you get killed.
Yeah, well, yeah. But competitively,
if you really enjoy playing online, but don't enjoy playing competitively, this is not the game for you. But it is very competitive.
It absolutely is.
Plenty of sponsors, as Benson just mentioned. Of course, Squid Grip sponsoring the MVP awards here.
Yes.
Well, of course, we'll find them out tomorrow night. A bit too early, really, to kind of maybe say some standout players. But, of course, we've saw Rambo, of course, always kind of makes himself.
It's Rambo, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, fantastic. I guess Take Aiming, if anyone really stood out, or they worked well as a
I've been really impressed with Josh. SK Josh, he has been playing so objective, but yet it's not been affecting his kills, his deaths. He's not been going, you know, massively negative, affecting. He's been playing really well, really strong, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's in the running for the MVP award. But like you say, it is a little bit too early to tell. Obviously, we're only at winners bracket round 3, so still plenty of
time.
Exactly,
there's still plenty of time. We still got 11 rounds of losers bracket. If I guess you'd have 7 rounds. You'd have to play 7 games. If whoever loses this out, they want to get to the final.
Yes.
They're going to have to win 7 games.
That's a lot when you think about it, isn't it?
It's yeah. That's why it's kind of funny, because like people always complain about the number of games they get, but just need to get into the losers bracket early.
Interesting strategy right there. Yeah. Get into the losers bracket early.
Well, I'm just being honest, though. If you want more games, then
fair enough.
Jump in there.
You heard it here first.
Come on, that's a pretty obvious strategy.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Until, I mean, the thing is, I mean, it's something I've touched on quite a bit. At this event, we've got so many top teams. I was trying to think about, you know, top 24 teams. It's impossible. There's so many good teams, and we know there's going to have to be some shockers. There's going to have to be a team that's, you know, a really high profile that does drop down to the loser bracket. You don't want to be playing one of those teams. It's going to be very, very close, I imagine.
Well, if you want to kind of give us your opinion on who's going to walk away with the championship here, head over to the Facebook page for EGL. It's EGL Pro on Facebook, and we've got a poll up there. And maybe your team's not up there, Phantom's not up there, but you know, Kiwi, he's played very well. He went +4 in that last capture the flag round. But here we are with Search and Destroy on Underground, and we are on board with TCM.
There we go. That's exactly what I said was going to happen. Jonah with the 3-piece. Oh, wow. That is exactly what I thought was going to happen. Phantom just coming out saying, you know what, let's give it our all. And that is a real play. I mean, you can tell by the reaction there. They're extremely happy with that. They are bringing the fight to TCM, and I'm telling you right now, this game is not over. If you think this is going to be a walkthrough, think again. Phantom have come out, and they've come out hard right now. We'll stay on board with TCM, though, on this defensive round, and we'll get on board with Rich. But I think that's going to come as a shock to them, really.
I think it's It was a bit too...
Wow.
Yeah, this is very surprising. Phantom are playing very well right now.
Yeah, they've really, like I say, brought the fight now to TCM. Flux does take down one of the Phantom players, and someone has been stunned there. I think it's Mac, and he's just going to be very cautious. 2 minutes 5 still to play, but like I said, I think this is going to be a lot closer than we initially thought, to be honest. We will stay on board with Mac and see what he's up to. It looks like he obviously don't want to give too much away. He is just being, very cautious, just trying to check as many of these so-called obvious spots as you could think of, and he's trying to lock the map down and see if it pays off. Ooh, comes into a gunfight there.
Interesting positioning there. He was waiting. Obviously, you need to position yourself so you get the first kind of sight of a player, and then aim to shoot. But unfortunately, the player playing that round there from Phantom very smartly. Now, Flux here, he's going to be on the A side.
Let's
we say that as
quiet as possible, yeah. Jake has taken down Jonah, though, and it is going to be a 2 versus 2 scenario. 1 minute 13 still to play. And, if you're TCM right now, you're just going to take your time. You're on defense. You don't need to push. I mean, you can't afford to take your time, and that's exactly what Flux has done. Come into a gunfight, and he's going to get rushed by 2. And Jake, he's going to know now exactly where both those Phantom players are. It's up to him. Is he going to challenge? Is he going to wait it out? Let's have a look. Yeah, opting to just take his time. Sees one. Nice play by Jake. Takes down Craig. It is going to be 1 versus 1. It's going to be Jake taking on John Jr. John Jr., interesting, he is actually on a donut right now. And if you can get this kill, this is going to be absolutely huge for the momentum of Phantom. 2-0 up, S&D underground against TCM. It's going to do them the world of good and confidence.
Oh. And Jake there with the big advantage as John Jr. tries to make his way across to one of the bomb sites, but the hunt just doesn't go his way. And as you just said, he's got the goose egg. Probably doesn't help the confidence, but also running around the middle of the map like that won't help you either. As we switch sides here, and TCM are now going to be on the attack.
Yes, we are going to be on board with Phantom. They're going to be on defense. Let's have a look. We'll get on board with Jerry. Yeah, we're on board with Jerry. I mean, 4-1. He got that amazing 3-piece in the first round, and we could hear them from here. They were very excited about that. But let's have a look how they are going to set up defensively. Lots of stuns being thrown and lots of nades as well. Let's have a look at how Jonah's going to play. Interestingly, choosing to back off. I'm not sure if I entirely agree with that. He's basically lost map control there, and he hasn't got the line of sight he had. But he's opting to move back.
The interesting thing about the position that Phantom are in is that a team like TCM will learn quickly based around how they set up for that last defense, and which worked really well for Phantom. But now we're starting to see them get picked apart here. You really have to change your strategies up a lot on a map, especially a map like Underground, which just has so many nooks and crannies. And if the attacking team is going to play very passively and not really rush out and kind of make the defenders kind of start to question what the team is going to do. Yeah. Then we're seeing the Kiwi here move around a lot.
Yeah, that isn't what you really want to be doing ideally in S&D, especially on defense. I mean, you want to not so much camp, but be in a position where you can cover a good majority of the map. As Kiwi has just seen the bomb has gone down with A, giving him 41 seconds to try and make a move. Jumps the corner. Oh, that was a very nice play by Kiwi. Takes down Jake, but Flux and Rich immediately respond with 2 kills, and now TCM seems to be back in the driving seat.
We see, there's a lot of time to try to stop that plant, and we saw both of the Phantom players just kind of, just come out right away. And obviously, in Kiwi's case, we were on board with him. We could see exactly why he was coming out because he was trying to get the kill. But, you kind of sometimes you just, especially when the numbers are down on the map, you've got an opportunity to try to get the frags first before getting the defuse. Play your options. And Phantom not really doing that. On board with Jonah now, though, as we're going to watch them on attack.
Flux takes down John Jr. there. That's very early on. You don't want to be conceding kills like that early. I know Phantom are on attack, but Kiwi responds there very nicely. Takes down Flux 3 versus 3. 2 minutes 2 still to play. Jonah, he's got himself in a very nice position. And, not sure if I agree with that. If I'm honest, sort of let the kill get away from him, so to speak, I guess. But, Phantom's still in quite a nice position. And I want to see if he gets... No. If it doesn't work once, it isn't probably going to work twice. And to be honest, he had a clean sight twice and opted not to take it. Not entirely sure why he's opted to do that, but we default now over to Kiwi, who gets panic shanked by Jake. And if I'm correct, that is going to be a 1 versus 2. A lot of pressure on Craig. He needs to make this, otherwise TCM is going to be getting well away from Phantom.
It is going to be a walkover after this, I'd say. Right now, we're just seeing Phantom fall apart. What an opportunity there for Jonah twice. And Jake there is going to... Jake almost actually choked on that, but Craig managed to let him have the kill. But we...
Have a look.
As we switch over. Anyways, what we're seeing, obviously, with Phantom is that whenever there's a any sort of position of kind of risk, they're just not taking it. That for Jonah, there wasn't much risk involved with that, other than he was a little bit away and maybe he just wasn't confident that he was going to get the first couple shots off. Yeah. And if you don't, then we don't know what player it was, but any of the TCM players. If you miss, if you miss those first couple shots, then you're probably done.
Yeah.
As we saw there with Craig and Jake, because Jake missed a couple shots, but unfortunately Craig just wasn't the caliber to be able to finish and take advantage of the TCM mistake. Now on board with Rich from TCM Gaming, and they right now are currently walking this map here at EGL7.
And Flux is taking down Jonah. TCM looking very strong to go and make this 2-0 in this best of 5 winners bracket round number 3. Will stay on board with Rich. And right now, Rich is doing an invaluable job. He's just trying to cover his teammate. Obviously, his teammate has the bomb relatively close to him. And, I say that, though. Craig responds by taking Flux and takes down Rich. That is a very nice 2-piece there coming from Craig. And, that's something that they need. They need that moment to try and somewhat inspire their teammates and really give them some motivation. And that's exactly what's happened. Kiwi takes down Jake as well. And it is going to be Mac, 1 versus 3. But you have to say, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be this guy right here. Let's have a look.
The irony if he does do it too, as the pickup.
Yeah.
Not that Mac isn't a great player or anything, but he's I don't know if he gets extra pay or what.
Well, I was saying that earlier on. They were saying how we have a pickup, we're not expecting that. Well, I went, your pickup's Mac. Yeah. Let's not be silly. Your pickup is Mac. You can't use that as some sort of an excuse. And the same said with SK. They said we've got to pick up his Madcatz. I went, you can't say that. It's Madcatz. But 46 seconds left. Mac. He's got it all to do. I want to say, time is of the essence. He knows where the bomb is. Again, I don't want to say that too quietly because it will give away as he does get a cheat. I thought he was going to choke that. He nearly turned, but Craig is right there to take him down. 3-2 TCM. Can't write Phantom off just yet.
Craig with a huge round there for Phantom. He obviously kind of had a mistake, made a bit of a mistake there against Jake in that one-on-one in the last round. Comes up big though with 3 frags for himself.
Yep.
Which is excellent. And Phantom now, 3-2. There's every possibility that perhaps they could do something miraculous here.
But the problem for Phantom right now is though TCM, they're on defense. They're experienced enough now to know we don't need to rush, we don't need to attack. We can let Phantom come to us. But having said that, Phantom are coming at TCM very, very quickly. Joe, that's a very quick kill there. And, TCM on the back foot already. And let's have a look. We're on board with Rich. He's just making himself moving himself rather into a better position where hopefully he has a better cover as Jake takes down John Jr., making it 3 versus 3, 1 minute 58 still to play. And obviously, 3-2 up to TCM. Phantom need to take this. It's a very, very important round.
The amount of patience that the TCM guys are showing right now is unbelievable.
To be honest, I think that's the difference. When we spectated Phantom on defense, or those times where maybe they had more time than they thought, they've rushed it a little bit more, which I just think shows TCM's experience. You see Rich there taking down Jonah. I mean, I think that is the difference between the good teams and the great teams. The great teams have the sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, but the dedication to just stay calm.
The X factor.
Yes, that's exactly it. The X factor. Why not? We'll call it the X factor. The patience factor. Yeah, they don't rush. They don't need to rush. They can take their time. On board with Rich. Few hit markers there on one of the Phantom players at A. Has some support though, and I like this play from what we've just seen. A very, very wise play, obviously.
Nice setup here from TCM.
Yeah, very nice. We will just see it is 2 versus 2. Craig and Kiwi. To be fair, if you're Phantom right now, you want to see Craig alive in a 2 versus 2. Last round, picking up 3 kills, and he got that really nice 2-piece, and obviously the game-winning kill as well. You want to see him alive, but the question is, exactly what we're saying, the patience factor that we're seeing right now is just absolutely unbelievable.
It's interesting there, the way that TCM guys set up after the first kind of initial contact there. The Phantom player was off into the races, and I thought that Rich had a possibility of trying to cut him off, but
I think what they did was just trap Phantom in. If you see the way that Rich has come through and the way Mac actually went through.
But it's taken a while for Rich just to pull through. He's, you know, double-checking himself and so on. And right now, if the Phantom player is playing really well to defend his position here, he's not in a good spot.
Oh!
And he managed to pull off a pretty spectacular there. It's going to be Kiwi, the man with the mission here. And Craig and Kiwi, the last 2 rounds, stepping up immensely here at EGL7. And Phantom pulling themselves back into this. Basically from the slogs, the dark, deep crevices of the ocean. They were at the very bottom of it. And right now, we have a game on our hands here.
Who do you want to spectate last round?
Let's go, maybe go to Phantom.
We'll get to Phantom. They're going to be attacking.
Phantom. I mean, we're just on board with TCM, and it'll be interesting to see how Phantom have changed their kind of strategy here, because it's obvious, we were just talking about patience, that they are slowing things down. Flex going to be the first man there from TCM with a kill. It's going to be Craig drop there, so now down to 3 men are Phantom. But they just have taken the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, they're going to have the momentum going into this overtime. And obviously the next round is going to take it. Jonah opting to challenge, does take down Rich, but there's Mac. And that's the way that TCM are setting up. They're setting up in a way where everyone's got each other's backs. One person dies, they immediately get dropped by someone else. And, you know, you've got to admire that kind of setup. It's great and it's working. I say it's working. It is 3-3. We're in overtime. We're on board now with Kiwi, who just tried to peek. It's currently a 2 versus 3. Flux, Jake, and Mac up against Kiwi and John Jr. Ironically, the 2 players for Phantom that aren't exactly having the best of games, you could say, you know, bottom of the leaderboard. But, you know, if there's a time you want to change it, it's right now in a 2 versus 3 against TCM.
You've got the wind. The wind is at your back, son. That's all I have to say about Phantom, guys. The wind is at your back. You can do this. That's the motivation you've just given them there. I mean, Kiwi's just absolutely slapped on Mac, if I'm honest. And he's just trying to get himself in a better position. Oh, I say that, though. Flux has taken down John Jr. Looked like that was back in Phantom's spawn. And Kiwi is going to have to play this very smart now. 59 seconds, a 1 versus 2. Flux and Jake trying to take down Kiwi. And if Kiwi gets this, you know, this is going to do Phantom the world of good in confidence. And let's have a look what Kiwi's up to. Bomb does go down. 43 seconds left. Interesting.
And I'm not sure if I agree with that.
Yeah, well, the plant's interesting, but the positioning here is even more interesting. He's going to...
He needs to make that. He does. He takes down Flux. Oh! Jake taking down Kiwi. If he'd have got that, that would have been absolutely... I just don't agree with the position. You said it yourself. I didn't really agree with that because the problem, we saw it before with the TCM guys. They sort of pincered. You know, one came from their spawn and one came from...
2 rounds ago, we saw one of the Phantom players get stuck in that same area and not being able to get out. But it was Rich and Mac on that defensive line for TCM, and we saw Rich get dropped rather early in the round. So perhaps, you know, the Phantom player was thinking, you know, Rich and Mac were working together on that side of the map. Maybe that's going to be a weak spot. Go for that plant. Doesn't quite work out though. The plant was interesting, but the defensive positioning was pretty poor. We saw him get very lucky though. We saw the first flash get thrown in there, get stunned, but he managed to pull a pretty big kill. He almost managed to get the 2-piece, but unfortunately for Phantom, you know, TCM, they're keeping their cool, and there they are right there. Mac from SK Gaming, he's the guy wearing the SK Gaming shirt, and the other 3 guys from TCM.